You're listening to the Spark Your Light podcast, episode number 266, my favorite manifestation practices. This episode is for you if you are a lover of manifestation or you want to get more into manifestation and you'd love to hear some practices that are going to help you, but more specifically, how to integrate them into daily life. Because I know it's easy to hear about different things you can try, but who has time for all of these strategies, a 27-step morning routine? Not me. So that's not what this is about. This is about how you can take some of these practices and integrate them into every day so that they are natural and things that you actually have time for. Thank you so much to SYL for sponsoring today's episode. So without further ado, let's get right into the strategies. The first practice that I love is visualization. Now, I'm sure you've heard of visualization before. It's not something brand new to you. But what I want to talk about today is specifically why visualization matters and how you can incorporate it into everyday life. So visualization is so important because our brains don't know the difference between real and imagined. And one of my favorite studies came out of the University of Chicago. It was done by a professor there, Dr. Soto. And what he wanted to study was how much of an impact does visualization actually make? And so what he did was he gathered a group of students to shoot free throws. And he divided this group into 3 different groups. So one group was the control. They were the group that didn't change anything, and he just wanted to measure, okay, what's going to happen if they shoot free throws and then they come back in a couple of weeks and shoot free throws again. The second group was the practicing group. So this group, they shot the free throws and then they came to the gym every day and they practiced. They physically practiced and shot free throws every day. And then they came back in a couple of weeks and they were measured again. And then the most interesting group, group 3, was the visualization group. So they were told to not pick up a basketball at all during this study, but instead to close their eyes and imagine that they were scoring the free throws. And then they came back and they were measured. The control group stayed the same as expected. The group that physically practiced improved significantly, also as expected. They improved by 24%. But get this, the group that just closed their eyes and imagined that they were scoring baskets, they improved by 23%. So it was only 1% difference to actually go to the gym and shoot free throws than just to close your eyes and imagine you were scoring. Why? Our brains do not know the difference between real and imagined. So visualization is one of the most powerful tools. And it's free and it's something you can do in 30 seconds a day. So there's absolutely no excuse not to do it. Now, when you're thinking about what do I visualize, where do I start, you cannot artificially make this up. Why? Because if you just start visualizing some random thing that you tell yourself, like, this is going to help me achieve my goal, you're not going to have the why behind it and you're not going to keep at it. So I like to incorporate my visualization with what sparks my light. So think about your goals and think about your vision and think about what really excites you. So you've heard me talk about this a million times if you've been listening to the recent episodes on the podcast, but what's sparking my light right now is getting my books into Target. So I'm working on my 3rd book. It's about hope and getting your hopes up. And my dream for it is to have it on the shelves at Target. And so that's a visualization I've been doing every day. I just imagine myself in Target. I actually imagine the first time we walk into Target, my husband is with me, and we head downstairs because in my local Target, the books are downstairs. I don't know if they're downstairs in all Targets, but that's where they are in mine. And so we head downstairs and there is my book. I see it for the first time. I'm obviously overcome with emotion and it's just such a special moment. And it only takes me maybe 10 seconds to imagine that entire scene. So that's something that is super short, is super simple, and makes a huge difference. So figure out, what is your target moment? What is your moment that is absolutely sparking your light right now and is going to help you stay committed to your long-term goals? Because something magical about visualization, It actually, yes, changes outcomes as we see in the free throw study, but it also impacts our motivation. It also builds resilience because when we have this vision that sparks us that we keep connecting to, we are more motivated to take action towards that vision. When things don't go our way, we have more resilience to pick up the pieces and glue them back together because that vision guiding us is so strong. So visualization is powerful for a number of reasons, and that's why it's one of my favorite manifestation practices. So that's the first one. And in terms of incorporating it into your day, obviously we talked about how short it can be. I also recommend thinking about it as a habit. So I like to incorporate it when I'm doing my morning journaling. And this is called habit stacking. So it's pairing a habit that you already have with a habit you want to incorporate. So for visualization, I am pairing this habit I wanted to have, visualization, with this habit I already have, which is daily morning journaling. And so when I'm writing down my goals, I write down those moments as if they've already happened. So my books are on the shelves at Target. And once I write that, I just take a few seconds and I imagine it. So it's super short, super simple, and fits into my daily routine. Now, what works for me is not going to work for you because we're totally different. We have different routines. You might hate journaling. So you have to think about what would be a good time in your day to incorporate this. And is there a way to habit stack? So maybe you visualize yourself with this target moment that is your life, what your target moment is when you're brushing your teeth or when you're in the shower, just something that you do every day or even multiple times a day. Brushing your teeth is great because you're now doing it in the morning and at night. So that's a really good one. So thinking about how you might want to incorporate it when you're driving to work, whatever it is, that's a really great place to start with visualization. First, get clear on what that moment is that you want to visualize on a consistent basis, and then think about how you can easily incorporate it into your routine. Something that I love that James Clear teaches about habits is if we want our habits to last, we have to make them feel really easy and effortless. We have to remove the resistance around them, which is why I think habit stacking can be a really great strategy for this. So that is the first manifestation practice. The second manifestation practice is speaking words that get me closer to where I want to go. So oftentimes we'll be working towards a goal and we're doing all the things. But then when we find ourselves talking with friends, talking with loved ones about our goal, we actually end up talking ourselves further away from the goal instead of closer to the goal. So ask yourself, are the words that I'm saying moving me closer to what I want, or are they moving me farther away? That is a key question. And if you truly want to manifest the things that you want, you need to think thoughts and feel feelings and speak words and take actions that all move you closer. But words is a really great one because I just mentioned a lot of things. Thoughts, feelings, actions. It can feel overwhelming to make all of those changes. I love words because we hear ourselves say them out loud. We might not be fully aware of all of our thoughts or even our feelings. Some of us aren't very good at identifying our feelings, and that is a skill that you can build. So words is a lot easier to start with, at least, and then maybe expand to some of those other categories because you hear yourself say the words out loud. So if you say, I can't do this, or this is probably going to fail, or here's my backup plan, then that is a trigger for this belief that you are not going to hit your goals. And what that does is it continues to reinforce that belief, and then your actions change. And then you stop putting yourself out there because you don't think that you're going to hit the goal. And then you stop doing the things that actually will get you closer. So instead, when you can selectively and actively choose words that move you closer, it does the opposite. It starts to reinforce the belief that I am going to get there and I am getting closer. And then you start to see evidence that you're getting closer because of the actions you're taking. So words do have a direct impact on the actions we then take, right? Because it influences the way we feel and thus our actions. So it's really important to choose words that will get you closer because as they get you closer, you start to build that self-confidence with those actions. So you start to see the results that you're seeking. Oh, wow, I am actually moving closer. And that is a sign to keep going. That is a sign to keep putting in the work. And so it becomes this really beautiful self-fulfilling prophecy once you start. So choosing those words is really helpful. In terms of integrating this into everyday life, I will pause and rephrase sentences that I have said out loud that do not align, that do not move me closer. So once you hear yourself say something and it's like, that's not really moving me closer to what I want, just pause and reword your sentence. If it is someone in your life that is on board for this and that is really supportive of your goal and that you'd personally like to take the time to explain, hey, I'm going to rephrase that sentence. I've been trying to only speak in a way that moves me closer to my goals. Great, you can do that. But don't feel the need to explain yourself to everyone because most people won't even notice that you've reworded your sentence. I do it all the time. I just say it and then I just say it again. So like let's say, for example, I said, I don't know if Target will ever want to carry my books. And I catch myself. And then I'm going to say, I think Target actually might want to carry my books. I just kind of like answered my own thing I had going on. And you don't have to shift it 1,000 degrees. So you don't have to go from I don't think to I'm 100% confident. That may feel unrealistic. That may feel like a lie to you. We want to meet ourselves where we're at. So instead, meeting yourself where you're at could be simply saying something like, I think that I will do this. It's just a first stepping stone in the direction that you want to go in. So that's just one example that you could play with. You could play with different examples from your life as well and start to think about what words am I already saying that are really limiting me, and think about that. And then the third strategy for manifestation is choosing joy. So joy is one of the highest vibrations. And a lot of times people think, well, how can I feel all this joy when I don't yet have the things I want? But ironically, feeling all this joy will help you manifest the things you want. So it's going back to how can I choose joy right now in this moment? And sometimes that's through better thoughts, right? What thoughts are you thinking that are robbing you of your joy? Because the way that Abraham Hicks describes joy is it's our natural state. It's just kind of the way we are. That's why a lot of times when you wake up in the morning, before you have the stress of everything going on in your day, you might just feel good. That's because joy is our natural state. So how are you robbing yourself of that joy? Maybe through limiting thoughts or an overbooked schedule or just simply not slowing down enough to appreciate the things that can bring you joy in everyday life. So it might be slowing down enough to get yourself a cup of coffee in between your meetings or making yourself a smoothie you can drink. Or it might be going for a walk and really appreciating the crunch of the fall leaves beneath your sneakers, right? What could bring you joy in that moment? Is there a reason that you're robbing yourself of the joy? And so this is something that I spend a lot of time doing in daily life. As I go into different segments of my day, I will ask myself, how can I find joy in this moment? And think about, is there an action I can take that will bring me more joy? And sometimes it is, yes, I'm on a walk and I would just love to stop for a coffee. And that will bring me a lot of joy. And other times it is more of a mindset shift. And sometimes joy feels like too much of a reach because I'm having a bad day or I'm frustrated at something and maybe I'm just looking for neutrality or peace, which is also great. So don't feel like this means you have to be happy all the time to manifest the things you want. Absolutely not. It is actually a good thing for your manifestation for you to process and release all of the stuck emotions and energy that you might be holding on to. And so instead, you can release all of that and come back to a neutral place or a joyful place, depending on where you're at. And that is what will propel you forward to actually manifesting the things you want. And oftentimes when I really do a joy assessment, I'll call it like really just a quick assessment of where am I feeling a lot of joy in my life? Where am I not? And what needs to change? I often get clear on some small changes I can make that usually don't cost a lot of time or money and that bring me a lot of additional joy. So it just takes slowing down and thinking about it to often realize what those changes are. So I hope these 3 manifestation practices are helpful for you as you integrate them into your daily routine to amplify your own manifestations. I am so excited for all the magic that you're creating. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and I will catch you in the next episode.